Well, representation matters. Representation matters in the music you choose, and representation matters in what you choose as a teacher. So I was telling the at my workshop that we teach from Mozart to mariachi and everything in between. So if you're not, because I love classical music, it's great. I love Beethoven, I love Bacharels, I love all that, but right now we're trying to engage students with all types of music, not just Eastern European music. And I love that music, but I really think that if you're teaching in Brooklyn, New York, and the majority of your students are Puerto Rican, then why not include this music? If you're in Miami and you have a big Cuban population, why not include this population? I always tell the teachers that you have to teach to your demographics. Find music that you're teaching your demographics. If I lived in San Francisco and they had a big Chinese community, I would be just like, okay, what are the music that you listen to? What is the music? I would survey them. But what I try to do is make these simple 8-bar melodies that any teacher could teach, that it's not just you don't have to look like me and need to be Ramón Rivera with a Latino name and be Latino and have beautiful brown skin and then teach it. I think teachers need to get past, like, it's cultural appreciation. The hard word right now is cultural appropriation. You're appropriating, and I think our degree, it says music. As a music teacher means we teach all types of music. It doesn't matter. So it makes no sense why we have these doors that gets closed for teachers. And I just them be vulnerable, learn these different types of music. I know that, and when we go to band school and music school, we're just at classical, and classical music's great, but let's expand that, because that's what they're listening to. If you go to the streets of New York, they're listening to reggaeton, they're listening to salsa. Cuba, they're listening to all these artists that I have in my presentation. And so that was my major goal, was like, how can we connect with not just the students with mariachi, is mostly Mexican students, but now we're expanding it to the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans, the Dominican, and that they're a big population in the East Coast. The songs that I included are the same notes as Mary Had a Little Lamb and Go Tell Aunt Rhody, just a more modern version of it. And so I think it really connected with the teachers, because they're like, I could teach this. I could do this. This is easy. There's two chords on the ukulele, and that was the really cool part, was seeing the teachers like excited. I'm going to teach this. It's really easy. And then, as you saw, we got the feedback. They were like, "Yes, this is what I've been looking for," because I don't know how to teach. Well, they said I don't know how to teach Latin American music in our class, but I think anybody could do it with the breaking it down to simple melodies. That one of the comments they were saying was like, I couldn't believe I learned like 8 songs in this short session. And I said, well, that gives you, because like they're music teachers, so they could read it really quickly, but with your students that could be a whole 2 months of lessons that you could use and break down the pieces and talk about the history. Because one thing to do is to play the music, but the next thing is to do is, why are you playing this music? And then why is it important to your community? Why? Because community builds community. If you're not choosing music that represents your community, then you're not doing enough research. I think you should research your community, ask the students what they want to play, or just show them, hey, do you listen to this kind of music? And then I think we want what we want to play. Is it about us, or is it about the teacher, or is it about the students? Because I survey my students. I go, okay, what songs have you played? Give me a list. I have singers, and singers are the best, because they go, I like to sing these artists, and then I could pick from there. And I think with what I gave the Modern Band Summit is that I gave them a big variety. I said, this is for you to engage in, and especially Hispanic Heritage Month is coming the first 3 weeks of school. Why not implement this? Why not put these things, or even just show the slides and listen to this kind of music? Because representation matters in the classroom. Students look at what's on the wall. I mean, if you put a picture of Mozart, great. Then put a picture of Gloria Stefan. Why not? Put of Carlos Santana. Put Luis Fonse. All the different artists that I put in my presentation should be up in the classroom, and you need to reflect as an educator and go, do I have Black musicians? Do I have brown musicians? Do I have Asian musicians? Do I have? You can put Mozart, Beethoven. Do you put Wynton Marsalis up on your wall? Because kids look at that. People don't. When I go visit classrooms, I go, what artist do you have on the wall so that they could connect with? And so I think it did both in the presentation and what we're trying to do at pBone.
Go through some of that presentation. And I remember, and this is before we get into the slides, one of the things you were describing is that what is the Latin American culture in the United States depends on whether you're on the East Coast, the West Coast, or somewhere right down the middle. So can you talk a little bit about that?
So what it is like the West Coast is, because it's so close to Mexico, a lot of the Southwest, mostly the music is mostly mariachi, norteño, and some cumbias. So if you're teaching it, I have the first couple songs in the presentation was songs from Mexico. We did La Bamba, which is an easy song, 3 chords, simple notes, simple songs that you could sing. Because we also did singing, which was a good part. Because all I did was play the 8 bars and then the main chorus of the song, and so that it was really simple, easy songs that you could teach, you could learn. And I also included the play along tracks that are on there that you could play with your ukulele, even if you're not a trumpet player. I included the trumpet tracks so that you could play ukulele and the trumpet. So you could I have a lot of teachers that have taken my tracks and said, okay, we're going to play our ukuleles with me playing the trumpet. And I think it's really cool that they do that. But our goal, and then if you go to the East Coast, where they have like New York and Miami and Washington D.C., they have a big Puerto Rican, Cuban community, and they listen to the salsa and the merengue and the bachata and the music it's called the Caribbean or Caribe in Spanish, and they listen to that style of music. So I included Celia Cruz, I included some salsa tunes, and so I could just see the excitement. It was good to see that we found this connection, that teachers are looking for these kind of outlets for their students, because I think it's not taught at the college level and collegiate classes, and so I think that's why it was important for them. So and I taught them how to do simple melodies where they could do call and response with students, connect with students. We played the name game with a reggaeton melody, and they just really digged it, and they were rapping, and so it was cool. So I really suggest teachers to take these 8 bars. This is probably my second book. We'll be getting those 8 bar songs and put them as great songs of Latin America. I think they're already done. It'd be really cool to have these resources, and which we'll have on the website. We could put these on the website, and teachers could use it. It's actually a 1-pager. So what's really cool, I have it as a 1-pager, and it has the ukulele chords, and it has the 8-bar melodies, and we have the videos, and we have the backtrack. So I think it's something that every teacher could use. You know what? Mariachi is really growing in the Chicago area, and I have some friends that are educators there. There's also a great group called Mariachi Gerencia de Mexico that's in Chicago, and I see it as a way of, since Chicago is just a big industry area, there's a lot of Latino workers that are from Mexico that do a lot of work there in Chicago, especially in the hospitality there in Chicago, because you have humongous hotels and this and so I've seen mariachi in the Midwest as a way to go. They even included the last 4 years at the Midwest clinic. They included mariachi in there, and I really see that it's another way of connecting kids and how to double your program, because I think that we love band. I love jazz band. We love choir. We love orchestra. But I think the fastest growing music program in the United States right now is mariachi. Because if you go to Chicago, I there's tons of schools, especially on the south side of Chicago, is a big Latino population, and they're starting some big mariachi programs. But also in Las Vegas has the biggest. They have 10,000 students that are learning mariachi. I mean, they have it from fifth grade on to 12th grade, and now they have it at the university. Texas is huge in mariachi. Texas is like number one. Texas is number one in everything. That's just they're just Texas, but it's really to see that. And then where I'm going, it's growing in that area, and I really think that it's just another option for our kids to give them music that's represents them, because why not have music that represents them